everybody. I'd like to open the meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have enough chairs.
There's a chair up here in the front row. Mary Beth.
First item on the agenda is the public hearing for the amendment to the current fireworks law. Motion to open the public hearing.
I make the motion.
And a second.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
The public hearing to comments from the public for the amendment to the proposed local law. We do have the notice that ran in the newspaper and copies of the amendment available.
Allison Miller, Town of Mount Hope. It is well documented that fireworks have a traumatizing effect on animals. Each July 4th, animal shelters, vets, and animal rights organizations put out statements cautioning pet owners about ways to minimize these effects. Common reactions in dogs include freezing or paralysis, tachycardia, gastrointestinal disorders, and uncontrolled attempts to escape and hide. Pet shelters have long claimed that the busiest day for taking in runaway animals is July 5th. Fireworks have similar negative effects on farm animals such as cows and horses, and also on wildlife. Birds and small mammals often abandon their nests in fear, become disoriented, and never return to their homes. Deer, coyotes, and other animals flee into roadways to escape the perceived danger and end up causing car accidents. Fireworks can also cause extreme distress in veterans and others with PTSD, as well as noise-sensitive children, such as those on the autistic spectrum or with sensory processing challenges. For some people, loud fireworks can even lead to hearing loss. The World Health Organization lists 120 decibels as the pain threshold for sound. Fireworks are louder than that, at sometimes 150 and up to 170 decibels. We live in a rural agricultural area with plenty of people who own cats and dogs, as well as farmers with livestock. In addition, this town board has long championed its local veterans, with Supervisor Howell, before he became town supervisor, for many years, organizing an annual Veterans Day parade to honor those who have served. The town's law already allows for 2 fireworks shows each year. Absent a groundswell of support for more, I'm not sure why the board sees a need to amend the law. I, so far, have not seen public outcry for additional shows. At the last board meeting, I heard mention of 2 individuals who wanted more shows. This does not seem to warrant amendment of the law. Knowing what we do about the negative effects of traditional fireworks on both people and animals, and considering where we live, if this town board feels the need to change the current law, I highly recommend investigating quiet or silent fireworks shows, which are gaining popularity around the country and seem like they would be a good alternative and compromise. Thank you.
She had hers all written out, that's pretty good. I got a couple questions for the board. What did the town pay for fireworks display?
The current booking is $2,500.
Who doesn't?
The company that we issued a check to is Fireworks Extravaganza, I believe is the title.
Were they Minnesota or Nevada? Where
I would have to look, I don't know their, they're New Jersey.
They're in Jersey.
How come other towns around don't have firework displays?
I would say that's on their municipal board's choice.
Rick, what town didn't have firework displays?
Greenville, Wawayanda, Minnesink. There are 3 that I know don't have them. Now, I got nothing against fireworks. I'll start out by saying that. I don't mind fireworks. I don't enjoy them. I wouldn't drive to a show, but I've got no choice. I live under the fireworks. So every time there's a firework display, I'll tell you who hates fireworks. My cows. And my cows are near and dear to me. There's nobody that takes better care of cows than me. And it traumatized them. And just like this lady said, you guys inspire, I wanna thank you because you got me going again. And I'm probably gonna pursue this until we either outlaw fireworks in the town of Mount Hope or do what like many municipalities have done, go to laser light shows. They're probably beautiful, but we don't have to have the pictures fall off our windows when they have a fireworks display or off our walls. I just printed up 5 of the first articles on the internet, and you know, you have a fireworks display, there's gonna be 100 birds die of a heart attack? I didn't know that. Same thing with rabbits. Every animal's affected, even the fish are affected. And she did a good job describing it, but I didn't realize this is nationwide. And how about you got the veterans flag here, the POWs. I will never forget, ingrained in my mind, when my father, who was on Omaha Beach Day 2, came out of the house crying the morning after the fireworks. It's just totally unnecessary. I say we should lobby for either laser light shows or do away with them, because you know, everybody who lives on Grange Road, they're forced. There's no question. They're at the fireworks. They explode right there. And they didn't get lighter over the years, they get louder. You guys just can throw these away or whatever, but they're your fireworks. And as far as you know, Angel says move your cows to a different spot.
I didn't say that, I said.
You heard the rumor.
That's what I was
You
told.
can't move a dairy of cows to a different spot. For the last 3 nights, and I'm good with, you know, 4th of July, have fireworks, I'll have a dead cow, I'll have an abortion or 2. It'll break my heart. But I care about the veterans, because I'm a patriot. I care about this country and I want to honor them. But you better ask the veterans who've been in active war if they enjoy them.
Jim Clausen. You know, we have wildlife, animals, they're our life. That's everything that we do revolves around them. And if you watch the little ones that went off last night that weren't so little, and you watch the bears go in circles, and they're screwed up for a couple of days, we got some that'll sleep right through anything. But you have fox, you have rabbits, you have squirrels, everything up there and stuff, and it affects them. And that's just the ones that we have, not the ones all around. And then you have the fallout from this. This is on the internet too. All lead, copper, zinc. This is where your kids play. This is where all this crap comes down. And everybody's kids are out there playing and having a good time. And this is where all this stuff goes in the water, everywhere. And animals have no choice. We do. So hopefully we can control it. I guess it's my turn. I lived in this town about 33 years. For the last 25 years, I donate a fireworks show to this town. That's my way of giving something back to the community. My typical show I donate to this town is around $15,000. I know there's people that don't like fireworks, and that's fine. But I try to do something good for the people. It also tied it in with the Otisville Fire Company as a fundraiser, so they can generate money. And I understand when I talked to Matt about getting a permit for my show, I can't get it. Because they already got 2. One for the country fair and one for the police night out. Now, I will be donating product to both shows because I'm from this town. But as for my show, it's not gonna happen this year. And I'm really to the point of, if that's the opinion of people, you're gonna save me money and time setting up. I try to do something right for this town, helping people out, and there's a lot of people that come to my show every year I do it. Now, I'm just giving you my opinion, that's up to you guys if you wanna decide to do, but that's the way I feel about it. If you guys don't want my show, it's not a problem for me. Again, I'm just trying to do something good for the community, but obviously we have a few people that don't like it, so the ball's in your court.
I'm with Mike and John Doty. I've been doing fireworks now for 30 years with him. I've done fireworks all over the country and all over the world, different countries. And in our clubs that we belong to, 90% of our members are veterans. They enjoy the fireworks. And they're active guys. They're still in the active military today. I understand some people have issues with it, and we try to curb down the size of our shells that we shot. And we moved our shells from where we used to shoot them to keep them away from the cows better and stuff. I work in the village. I have people every day asking, are the town doing their community day? Are we going to have a show? I said, unfortunately, with this year, no, because you're only allowed to 2 shows. Not asking for a whole lot of shows, just so, you know, for like municipality, they should be able to have unlimited shows. The village wanted it. One of our board members, he wants to do a show. But we, as the village within town of Mount Hope, we follow underneath their guidelines. I think there should be a little leeway. You know, it ain't like everybody in their having shows there. Last night they were doing it anyway, so it doesn't really matter. You can have the law all you want. And I was watching some of the shows from my yard, because I haven't done fireworks in a couple of years because I got hurt. And they're big stuff. One of them was right across by you.
You're absolutely right.
So, I think, you know, for Mike, who's donated shows over the years to the fire company, the Boy Scouts make money off of it for parking. Little League's made money off of it by selling food and stuff. The community benefits from having some of the shows that, like for community day and stuff. And that's my concern. I think the community day should have the opportunity to have a show. The police want to have their show, police night up, that's fine. Support our police. I support our police all the time. And the fair, we raise a lot of money Sunday night for the fair. So, that's just what my opinion on that.
Ed Lawson, I'm a resident of Mount Hope. I live on Finchville Turnpike. I don't understand what the need to have more fireworks shows is gonna do. I mean, is it bringing in that much money that like we're gonna turn Otisville and Mount Hope into like the firework capital of Orange County? We're gonna have 5 shows or 3 shows. We have 2. I've never complained before. I'm affected by the road being closed down every time there's something at the park. Are we adding more? Are we just gonna start having shows for other people that wanna have shows, that, you know, they can't get permits, so they'll do us a favor, and then we're gonna do a personal show? It doesn't seem right to me. I mean, I understand, like, if you're doing good things for the community by donating stuff, and I understand it's a good thing that you're bringing people here, and you're making money for the community, for the Boy Scouts and stuff, but why are we making amendments to add more fireworks shows? I mean, I see this, like, when does it end? And are we gonna add more amendments after that? Because we made a decent amount of money, now we want 7 shows, and then, you know, fireworks aren't illegal anymore. Let's have fireworks shows in the middle of the winter now, too. I don't understand why we have to have, you know, Mount Hope is a small community. How many fireworks shows does Middletown have? How many residents are in Middletown? How many residents are in Otisville? I mean, I understand the good things that we're trying to do out of this, but I just see this going into, like, you know, a direction I don't want to see Mount Hope go into. I mean, I don't want to be the fireworks capital of Orange County. Does anybody else have 5 fireworks shows? Newburgh? I mean, I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know how
Are
many
we
they
gonna
have
be,
at the Orange County Fair. I don't know if they have fireworks shows for the fair over there. I think
Yes.
that's,
They do.
yeah, okay, so I'm not sure how many shows they have, but that's Wallkill, that's the town of Wallkill.
Right.
Which had a show 2 nights ago. But I'm sure during that fair that there is some fireworks shows.
yeah, and they have like a big police department, bigger than ours.
Correct, yes, sir.
And all these shows have to be insured,
Yes.
Right, how much does that insurance cost for each show?
I pay for mine.
The operator has to provide it. So what their insurance cost is, I couldn't answer that.
Is it, I mean, is it minimal? Is it-
Well, the.
I don't know, I'm just asking, I don't mean to take up everybody's time, I apologize.
I don't think it can be minimal. I mean, think about technically what could happen, God forbid.
The current required limit is a minimum of $3 million of coverage provided by the
For
applicant.
each show,
Correct.
and we don't know how much that would cost, so, I think money would be well better spent putting a fence up in the dog park that has no fence. That would also draw people to the community from outside that might use our stores and our community as well. And it's not like a one-shot, here and gone, money spent and then it's gone. It's something that a whole community can enjoy and it'll be there 365 days a year. I don't know if this is the forum for that, but I'd just like to add that. Thank you for your time.
Hi, my name is Joan Rowland, I live on Grange Road. I can certainly remember raising my kids here, and the fireworks were just the epitome of wonderful, and it's one of the cherished memories of their childhoods. I quite enjoy them. I do believe 2 is enough. I think extending it to 5 or 7, I think is rather unreasonable, and I do understand the impact that it has on wildlife. We raise chickens, and, you know, it impacts them, you know, so it's eventually gonna be enjoyment over the community need of having livestock and not impacting wildlife. Thank you.
Anybody else from the public want to speak on a proposed amendment?
Well, it wouldn't be right if I didn't say anything. I'm trying to be in the middle here, and I don't think that's possible. I want to know, because to dispel the rumors that I've heard over the years, a few years now, how did we come to the conclusion of having 2 fireworks displays a year, period? When, as if I remember correctly, in the past, we didn't have 5 or 6, but if somebody wanted, a group, an organization or something came up with wanting to have a firework for a purpose of community gathering, they went through the proper channels and they had it. How did it come down to 2? What happened? Did something happen that I'm hearing rumors about that I'm told tonight are incorrect stories? I wanna know how it became, oh, well, kind of as many as you'd like, within reason, down to 2.
Before the current local law was passed in February of 2016, we had been approached, the town board at the time, 2016, with regard to the amount of shows that were going on by people, businesses, and residents at Grange Road and the surrounding area, of the extent of the number that was going on, looking to have it limited or have a cap put on it. So we went through at that time the process of drafting the local law. Again, there was a public hearing just like today, and based on the feedback from the public, we made the decision at the time to enact the proposed local law with 2 firework show cap.
There was also an incident over at the 4-H is what sparked it, to my recollection. Before there was a local law in the books, you could go to the county would issue you a permit. I mean, we always had 2 shows for the fair, am I correct, Mike? And 1 show for around 4th of July, somewhere around there. I think I'm right about that, right?
Yep.
3 shows a year, is what I recall here.
Okay. So the purpose of tonight's hearing is why? Somebody's asking for more? Somebody's approaching the board, wanting more?
Correct.
Okay. How does the board feel about it?
That's why we're having a public hearing.
And who decides who is allowed to have the fireworks show? I mean, I understand the fair. A lot of people in this room are part of the fair, and I'm part of that too. Where I'd like to have fireworks at the fair because of, it's a draw for people to come to the fair and to spend money at the fair. And there's a lot of charitable organizations at the fair, and so on. So I would like the fair to be one of those nights. 4th of July, I miss having fireworks in Mount Hope or Otisville. You know, 4th of July, I think if you're gonna have fireworks any night of the year, it would be 4th of July first. And I don't know how the police community day got involved. Who makes those choices now? Who chooses who gets fireworks and who doesn't?
Anybody interested in having a fireworks show would have to fill out the application that's available here at the town office as part of the current local law that's in place. If all the parameters of that are met and there's an existing or open availability, then that permit would be granted to that person or organization.
But if there are already two, say the fair is already established and the police are already established,
Then that's it.
It's only
Two is the one currently.
that's it. Well, under the circumstances, and I love animals too, and I didn't know my rumor was wrong, I don't know a lot about farm animals and how they're handled, but I was told that if Mr. Reeland would, and he told me tonight that it's incorrect information that I'm passing along, that if he was notified in advance of proper fireworks are going to be shot off, you know, through an organized group or something, you know, not just somebody in their backyard, that he could move the cows to a farther field or put them in a barn to protect them or to shelter them. That I'm told tonight is incorrect information. That being said, I don't know what the solution is, but I don't want the fireworks to be eliminated from the town of Mount Hope entirely. So if 2 is the limit, maybe 3, that would be my stand on it, I guess, under the circumstances. I don't want them to be gone.
We got a bunch more people in the room. Anyone else want to say anything?
Any comments from the board on the proposed amendment?
I got a few. So, I've been doing a lot of investigating and reading into this. If you don't know, my brother is a veterinarian himself. And I love fireworks. And I think, Mike, I appreciate everything that you've ever done for this town. I know you've done a lot of things that people don't know behind the scenes. But, you know, I also respect that we're in our little town. We're not in town of Walk Hill where they have the Miracle Mile strip or places where they can blow fireworks off that isn't gonna affect people. It still does. Still affects small dogs and things like that, but they have areas that don't have wildlife that we do have here. And, you know, with Jim having the bears and different animals up there, and I know with Mr. Breland with having his cows, you know, those are businesses in our community. So to me, we also have other farms that have smaller amounts of animals. I know we have horses, somebody has horses over there too. Excuse me. So my point is, it's not like we have a Walmart here, or we have anything else that brings in people to our community to help our tax base and enjoy our community. And when we do have nice things, you know, we have businesses like those that come in and, you know, support them. Places like the Farmer's Daughter up here, or Mr. Vreeland's store over there. And if you haven't been there, I would suggest you go there. But that's our community. We don't have Miracle Mile with all these other stores all over it, and no really livestock or anything over there.
my opinion is, and based on this, I have a 3-year-old pup. And Saturday night, I think it was, I live right on the Walk-Hill line. And somewhere's down in Walk-Hill, I've never seen him act like this, and he just absolutely freaked out.
It was Davidge Park, Chris.
Okay. And, you know, I actually thought that something was wrong with him. He was a little dramatic, and then, you know, the next morning he was fine. But, you know, seeing that firsthand, I like fireworks. You know, I think that we should have the 2 shows. I like the idea with the laser light show.
Yeah, that sounds good too.
You know, I think that's just, this, I'm only one vote here on the board, but I'm saying my 2 cents is that, you know, you try to do what's gonna make everybody happy. And for the last, how long has this law been on the books?
Since 2016, so 6 years.
6 years. So for the last 6 years, we've done, you know, what we can during COVID. You know, we took one of the fireworks displays, I believe, and we had it on 4th of July, correct? And we,
You'd have to ask Mike. I believe the reason we never had 4th of July fireworks is because that's his business and he does it elsewhere. That's what I was always.
because we didn't have anything going on, the fair didn't have anything going on, so we did it around the 4th of July, you know?
Last year we did it for the anniversary for the village.
And I'm gonna say this for the fair, I think it's great to have one, because Saturday night, that's your night, bud, right?
No, it's Sunday night.
Or Sunday night. That's when you're gonna get the most people in, and we all enjoy the fair, you know? The same thing with the night out. Paul and the guys have done a phenomenal job of building this thing that, it's only been a couple of years, there's tons of people that can go. So it makes sense to have it. As far as 4th of July, look, there's so many fireworks displays that are going on all weekend during 4th of July, you could probably see nice ones all over. And I don't wanna take it away from Mike either by him doing a show, but, you know, there's gotta be a happy medium. And to me, as a person that lives here, and I'm always about doing what I feel is gonna be right for both. I would like to leave it the same. I'm gonna go right out on record, leave it for 2 shows, and expand into like a laser light show or something, because I think it's probably too late to look into that laser light thing, but I think that would be a great thing to do. I don't know of any other towns that are really doing it,
Yeah, you'd be the first one, so it'd be a nice draw.
right?
It'd be a good draw.
So that's my 2 cents on it. And, you know, I don't know how you guys feel.
I just want to add my 2 cents if I can. Mike, I thank you for donating your fireworks over the years. I think half the reason why we have fireworks and we have so many shows is because of your donations. I have no idea how much a laser light show is going to talk about, but sitting on this board and sitting through different, trying to save taxpayers' money and not raising taxes, I think we're talking something that could be here as compared to here. I don't think the idea was ever to solicit 5, 7 shows. That was never the idea, to solicit that. I think the idea was, there was a lot of questions, and I'll say this, I take care of the Facebook page. There was a lot of questions, where did the 4th of July fireworks go? For the last 4 nights in the town of Mount Hope, in the village of Otisville, all I heard is fireworks. We live right near the Pennsylvania border. All you gotta do as a New York resident, go in and show your license, you could buy whatever fireworks you would like, that are not legal in New York, but you could bring them over. I have no idea how busy the police department was, which I'm gonna ask you in a second, Mike, but if we have a law on the books for fireworks, and we're trying to stop shows, big shows, what are we doing to stop people from blowing off fireworks? Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night, and last night were phenomenal. I could hear the Middletown fireworks from Davidge Park, they were very loud, obviously that's down the road. Me personally, I don't know that it needs to have a number on it. I would like to see 4th of July fireworks or somewhere around that, maybe get rid of the Night Out Against Crime in August. I mean, I understand it's a draw for people to come, but I guess our draw for people to come watch fireworks is the fair, which is in end of August this year? I mean, so we're already gonna have a show in the end of August this year. So we now moved our firework law to 2 shows in August. We have nothing to do with 4th of July fireworks, so really the 2, I don't even know that they belong together. I did get a lot of feedback online, and I'm glad to thank the people that came out for the public hearing, because I think the hardest thing about being on this board sometimes is you get from one person, then you get from another person, but you don't know what the general public would like. So I appreciate, even though this room, I wish was a little more packed than it is, but I appreciate you guys taking the time out and coming out here to express your opinion about it. Personally, I think when we made this law in 2016, that we set up parameters as far as what you would need, as I said at a meeting last time, the average Joe doesn't have money to have fireworks. And I don't wanna solicit people coming to Mount Hope to have fireworks either, but I don't know that a number belongs on it. I think the fair used to be a great draw. We always had 2 fireworks shows at the fair going back however many years, Saturday and Sunday. And if you talk to anyone in Orange County, Otisville is known for the Otisville Fair. That's how they know our little community. That's the draw for people from Middletown, for people from Walk Hill, from people from the Miracle Mile or whatever you're calling it, Chris. They come here for that. And I personally think we're shooting ourselves in the foot doing fireworks there on Sunday, but again, that was the fair's choice to do. I realize you're limited to when, but, you know, I think the fair used to be, wasn't it in September at some point too, a little later in, or was it always August? Always August, okay. Right before school, okay. So me, I don't feel it should have a number on it. That's all I'm gonna say.
Any other board comments?
Like I said, before I joined the board, it was, I always know 3 fireworks shows in Otisville, Mount Hope. 2 at the fair, and then 1 around, a little bit after 4th of July that Mike held for the community. I personally, I would love to see this go up to 1 more, give Mike the opportunity to let his show happen. I mean, it donates the whole entire show to the community, and also benefits a little bit of the local organizations that can raise money for food, sell food at the event, parking. I mean, like you said, in the law, we do have it set for the guidelines of what can be done, where it can be done, and all the requisitions of it. Anything from you, men? The only comments I have, I know we've heard a lot from both sides of the equation here. The domesticated animals, the house, pets, the cats, the dogs, like Ms. Miller had mentioned before, is obviously a concern, as well as our industry in town is animal agriculture, or agriculture in general, which, is a big part of the businesses we have. Like Chris said, we don't have the big box stores. So my opinion is to preserve the animals, wildlife, domesticated pets, animal agriculture, things of that nature. So I think 2 is a compromise between having shows and having some, if you would, protection for those that have the effect of it. I've got 4 children. They're all getting old enough now they can stay up and watch them, which they do enjoy. Before this law was passed, my 2 younger ones were infants at the time, and to have them booming at 9:30 or 10 o'clock at night waking babies up isn't the ideal situation, but luckily my family's beyond that. We do have young families in town, which is also a consideration. So I would like to see the 2 cap remain. So that was my spot. So at this point, I'd like a motion to close the public hearing for the amendment to the fireworks law.
I'll make the motion.
And a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Move on to our meeting agenda with the prior meeting minutes from June the 20th, 2022. Could I accept those minutes, please?
Matt, excuse me, can I just ask to clarify that tonight, the public hearing is established at May at 2,
So if there's,
2 fireworks?
we're not there yet.
Oh.
We do have public participation, like Ms. Davis had said, so you can ask those questions at that time. Motion and a second, please, to accept the meeting minutes from June 20th, 2022.
Make the motion.
And a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much. Correspondence from Kathleen, please.
I have the town employee handbook amendment that you all got regarding seatbelts that you all got a copy of. The snow and ice agreement for certain county roads for 2022-2023 season with the county. An estimate from Buddy's Glass for rental hall, remove and replace exterior entrance doors and frames. Flyer from the town of Wawayanda for their food truck festival on July 16th from 11 to 7. It's at their Shannon Park. And the mortgage tax receipts from the county for June. That's all that I have.
Thank you, Kathleen. To our committee reports from our board members. Do you have a report, Jim?
Sure. Quick, village meeting will be this Thursday at 6:30. They'll be having a public hearing on the prohibition of livestock in the village. And that's all, and then regular meeting to follow. That's all I have.
Thank you, Jim. Chris?
I got a few things. Menacing Valley Youth Football League tonight is the last night to sign up online. You will have to get your medical and birth certificate to them before the end of the month, so if you want your child to play football this fall, I suggest you get online tonight and register your kids for football. Also, with the youth football, I've been trying to arrange a meeting between Dean, Matt, myself, and other board members so that we can take a look at where we can start working on putting in bathrooms up there. So I'm hoping I'll get that locked down by the end of the week for you guys. Also, DCO is officially retired. The vehicle is here. Matt and myself have done 2 interviews so far. There is a couple more that have picked up applications, so we're hoping that we'll get some more interviews in before the 11th deadline, July. Hidden Valley, about a week and a half ago, the system went down. Reason was because there was a backup battery in the system and it made the computer go down. It was very short term. Residents probably didn't even notice, but it did get back up, and that is that's okay now. They also did find at the end of Thistle, there is a predictive dialer there, so if that pump goes down or if there was a power outage, it kicks on a light and dials the sewer plant operator. Upon further investigation, it happened on a Thursday night, and on Friday afternoon, Friday evening, the plant operator was in there and figured it out that a mouse had eaten through a line and had destroyed the predictive dialer. So we have a new one on order, and it's coming. I want to remind all the Hidden Valley residents that we will be having our meeting on August the 4th, correct? At the Senior Center. So we're going to go through what's going to be happening and what we have done and what's going to be going on in the future. So that's very informative if you're in that sewer district. And I think that's all I have tonight.
Okay, thank you, Chris.
Yep.
And on to Brian.
I got a bunch of stuff here. Let's see. Summer concerts is going on right now as we speak. Well, probably, yeah. Soul City is up there tonight. The first 4, if anyone saw our flyer for our summer concerts, the first 4 concerts on that list are new this year to us. So they're obviously they had a bunch of people up there when I was just up there before. Little League is actually up there selling food tonight. They're running it back and forth from their concession stand, so that was all going good before it came to the meeting. Next week is County 1 band. They're also a local band, so 7 to 8:30 next Tuesday. I was online the other day and I saw an update. I know we've talked about this at our meetings about this Menacing Valley Public Library. I know there was some questions going back and forth between people as far as what they feel, how it would affect your taxes. Right now, as far as from what I read, they're saying 1% of your annual school tax would go towards this library. And I also saw something on there that there's going to be a vote on this on October 18th. Don't know where, didn't see that information, but as obviously time goes on, one of us will report something about it. But it's interesting if you're on Facebook to go on and read some of the comments. There's a lot of people that are for this library, a lot of people. There's a lot of people that aren't for the library. So I think one way or another it's going to be voted on, and one way or another it's either we're going to have it or we're not going to have it. Last meeting I brought up an update, and it's going to be postponed to next meeting about signs, working with Lewis Signs to get estimates to redo our signage, including the Hidden Valley sign, which I talked to him about today. Public hearing notices. I know we have something from you, Matt, that you had put out to us, I think, for our meeting tonight. Just a little tidbit. I know we advertise in the Times Star Record. I know there's only a handful of people that still get the Times Star Record if you read it online or you get it. I used to report for a couple years in a row how many followers and how many likes we have on Facebook, and I just want to say that an update to that from today was we have 2,049 followers. It's not a heck of a lot, but it is a way you can do a breakdown to see where these people live. So interesting, just a little breakdown of that. 27.6% of the people that actually follow our page are men, interesting enough, and 72.4% are women. Middletown, Walk Hill, Mount Hope, and Otisville are the breakdown, and I know some people are over the border in Walk Hill, but that's just the people that follow us. Just wanted to update that for you, and I think that's pretty much all I have.
Okay, thank you, Brian. Amanda? Just like you said with the notices, just an inter-office memo for the department heads in here. We've had a couple of hiccups with the record accepting or taking in the notices that we need to advertise public information with. So this way, that notice will be to streamline everything through clerk's office, which Kathleen's been very successful with getting notices into the paper at the desired time we want without any complications. So this way, what we're looking to do is eliminate some of the issues with getting them to print on time. So that's all Brian was covering with that. And both of those were taken care of. So we'll move on to our hybrid report for Dean.
The contract with Orange County for snow and ice removal, compared to the last year, there's no changes. Everything's good with that. I had Buddy Banks come out and look at the doors on the rec center to replace them with what we have on the senior center. He did those doors. It's a little expensive, but I think it's gonna solve all our problems up there. Those doors are still a hassle. Every Monday morning we go up there, the double doors aren't closed.
And they have mag locks on them now. Yeah.
So you have that
Just the
estimate.
issue, I mean, one of the vendors couldn't close the door and then stay locked. I think that was the issue we're having up there.
It's just that they're not commercial doors. I mean, they're good double doors, but they weren't commercial.
Is there anything we can do to fix that now, the issue they're having up there? With that door, I mean,
The one door,
really push those doors really
the
hard.
door
to get-
towards the kitchen
Yeah.
on the right side, the hinges have been on it now,
Oh, they are.
so. I don't know. Since the beginning, well, since March, I first asked Pioneer Pole Buildings to give me an estimate for a building down at the park. We put money away for it. And I've been having, well, first they gave me a good reasonable estimate, but then I had to go back to them and remind them that it has to be, the word I'm looking for,
Prevailing wage.
prevailing wage. So they sent me the updated estimate. It's still within the money we put away. But I've contacted four other local builders, and nobody wants to give me a price. They don't want to waste their time, they tell me, because that's all Pioneer does. So my question is to you and to David, is if I advertise, put a notice in the paper for estimates, and I only get Pioneer that responds, can we then deal with them?
How long was it advertised?
We didn't advertise it, I just been soliciting, calling people.
Yeah, if you advertised it for 2 or 3 weeks and you still only have the Pioneer quote, then I'm satisfied with that. As long as we're giving the others an opportunity with the advertising and we show that the town made that effort, I'm fine with just receiving one.
So then I would just ask for permission to advertise for bids for a building for down the park. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Dean. We'll move on to the police report from Mike.
Evening. To answer your question, Brian, we had 3 calls for complaints of fireworks. One was on Saturday and the other 2 were last night. Junior Academy is all set. It's scheduled for the 11th, so 6 more days. We have 16 participants. Lynn Marie's doing a great job with that. Officer Decker, Officer Johnson, they're all doing a great job setting that up. And I'll get you a flyer afterwards. If you give it to me, I'll see if I can get that fine-tuned for you. And I believe we're gonna have fingerprint things, but I'll definitely confirm it. And see if we can add it to the flyer.
Thanks.
And that's it, unless there's any questions.
Any questions? All right, thank you, Mike. Any report that was given to us from the village?
They haven't had a meeting since
Since our last?
Yeah.
Thank you. On to our new business. Kathleen had mentioned the amendments to the town employee handbook. Very common sense items, but we do need to have them in writing in the handbook. Would be seatbelt and cell phone policy while operating town vehicles, quite simply to amend, as was written and proposed out, that all occupants will wear a seatbelt when in a town vehicle in operation, and no cell phones will be in use in a town vehicle in operation. So would need a motion and second to approve the amendments to the town employee handbook.
Make the motion.
And a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. As Dean had mentioned, we have the Orange County Snow and Ice Agreement for the upcoming 22-23 season for approval. This would be a renewal, as we've had this in place for a number of years. So, any questions on the contract? All right, we need an authorization for myself to sign a contract with Orange County for 22-23.
I'll make the motion.
And a second?
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Had a request from the building department. Julie is working with the Village of Wurtsboro in training a new code enforcement official there. That official has requested if they could come along for on-site inspections and office work to learn, the ins and outs of the trade, so to speak. So I spoke to David. With the board approval, David will have a hold harmless agreement. This would be a non-compensated. He would essentially just be riding along to learn the process of code enforcement. So a motion to approve training, non-paid for Mark Brennan from the Village of Wurtsboro, and pending a hold harmless agreement from the attorney's office. And a second?
I'll second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Give permission to the highway super to advertise bids for the building at the park. A motion and a second, please.
Make the motion.
And a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Which building is
For
it? The football?
Construction, no,
No,
not for
for the
construction,
garage.
for, it'd be a highway building.
Oh,
And Dean will get you that notice to run, we'll send that over for you. All right, we need authorization to pay the bills for abstracts number 25 and 26.
I'll make that motion.
And a second? All in favor? Aye.
I'm abstaining from abstract 26, voucher 331.
Thank you. Dean, question about the estimate from the Buddy's Glass. Now, this is a custom-made door that he would have made to put in there, correct? This
Yeah,
isn't
there's quite a lead time on them.
correct. This isn't a door we can buy at Home Depot or
No.
something?
These are what was put on the senior center. They're metal frame with all glass up and down.
Just a question that I have for you about them. The senior center, currently you have to hit the 2 levers. With mag locks, technically, they might not even need to be there, because mag locks should just automatically click shut.
If he orders them, I'm gonna have, our two guys contact each other, because when we put those doors on, they talked with each other today. Buddy was up there measuring. He ordered them for the mechanism, that electronic mechanism. So when the alarm guy or what is it?
Like mag.
Night watch,
mag-
when they put them in, they didn't have to cut and drill on them. They were all set up for them.
Okay.
So,
Was Buddy there after the mag locks have been on?
yeah.
Yeah, okay. No, that's,
Well, it's something we could, we know now, we can coordinate that.
Yeah, I
again.
will definitely have the two of them talk, just to make sure we get what each of them, what Night Watch wants.
I think it'll be good, a lot of light.
Yeah.
Does anybody have any questions with the motion and a second to approve the estimate for the door replacement, total cost of $9,350.
Make the motion.
And a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, on to our. All right, old business, we need a, take a vote on the amendment for the fireworks law. Need a motion and a second to make the proposed amendment for fireworks law.
You're looking for a motion to leave it as is?
Well, the amendment would make the change to 3. So we would have to vote to either approve the amendment or vote.
Now, you could choose to take no action if you're not gonna make that amendment. You wouldn't need a vote to not move forward, you just don't take an action on it at the moment.
That's, listen, I'll make the motion that we change it
Is there a second for the motion?
Change it to 3?
to the opposed amendment, yes.
Okay.
Second the motion. All right. Well, just for clarity's sake, we'll do a roll call. I'll announce each member's name and their vote. So, Mr. Jennings? Aye. Mr. Furman?
Nay.
Myself would be a nay. Mr. Carey?
Aye.
And Ms. Davis? Okay. So, that motion is not carried. The fireworks law would stay as is with a cap of 2 shows per year. At our last meeting, we had a presentation from Chris, Mila, and Kay for a proposed seminar and CCP, some other items they talked about. I had provided a draft brochure for the seminar that they are planning to hold on the 20th of July at our youth center. Does anybody have any questions regarding the seminar or the brochure, the advertising that was provided?
Do you have a new brochure with the new date on it?
Oh, yes, yes.
Okay.
I'm finalizing the final content.
Okay. I just want to advertise it for you, that's the only reason I asked. Okay, that's awesome, that's fine. Thank you.
Thank you.
It's not, you
Do
probably
you
said.
want one?
Was the new
You have to
brochure?
do the application.
She gave me that day, I made copies.
You did the application?
Yeah, remember?
Well, you gave me the other thing for it.
Well, thank you,
I
appreciate
gave
it.
it to Matt, and he said he'll bring it to you, the sponsors.
Oh, Kathleen, I have it here.
Sounds like
I'm not
being in my
gonna-
office.
Oh.
I'm gonna give you one of these, in case you don't have it. Take one here. I mean, this is when you were doing it, so we're still polishing it up. This is a shot.
Do you have a colored copy that you can email me?
You have to-
I should think I'm
You
gonna
have no fee.
That's fine, thank you. This is just a,
I got it. Get this
you
thing.
got another?
Even, well, they're not gonna have alcohol, I don't think.
No, but that's not what it's, you know, like Little League, all the other groups have to have. it, you know.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
I misunderstood that, and that's fine.
No.
With the seminar, I met with Chris and Mila last week. I don't know if they had brought it up at the meeting when they gave us their initial presentation, but they're looking to have the rental fee waived for the meeting night. They're working with a not-for-profit. I gave Kathleen the certificate. The company, or the not-for-profit, I should say, is Global Services Centers for Quitting Chinese Communist Party, is the organization they're working with, a not-for-profit, to have this. So their request would be to have the fee waived, not the security deposit, the refundable, but the rental fee waived for the building for their seminar. So that would need to be approved by the board. Does anybody have any questions?
Yes, the Wednesday that they're looking for, we know no one's renting it that night,
If she verified everything with me.
then I'd like to make the motion.
And a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, and
Yes.
And we can, we've got the copies of the brochure, we can do the advertising as we had mentioned for you with that, in conjunction. Any other items that we would need through Kathleen's office, you know, we can get in touch with you with that to finalize the application. So, is there any other questions or comments regarding the seminar? Okay. Set here.
We hope everybody can
I was
come.
gonna say, we're allowed to come, right?
We want everybody to come
Okay.
because we're doing a community service.
Okay.
Yeah, we're together on this.
The only other item I have from our highway department workers, and like Dean had mentioned, when they go up at the beginning of the week, at some points the pool table, the large full slate top pool table is being moved across the room. As every time it's moved, it weakens the leg structure, so that's something they've got to repair and continue to monitor. They had asked if we could add to our rental agreement, not moving the table, because at some point with weakening the legs, if it falls over, we don't want anyone to get hurt, but we don't want it to get busted and have to buy it if we can just alleviate getting to the breakage point.
Maybe we could also put signs on all four sides, nothing underneath that say, please do not move.
So, yep. I'd like to make a motion to add to our rental agreement for the youth center, simply not to move the pool table within the building.
I'll make the motion.
And a second.
Can I just?
Sure.
One thing, can we think about maybe, can we move the pool table to the side a little bit?
Sure.
Yeah, we can,
That way
Permanent
it's-
spot, like.
I mean, a lot of people have events up there and it's right in the middle
in
of
the
the
center
dance
of the
floor.
floor. Yep, so, yeah, we
The
can
problem
get,
is that you wanna center it, you wanna put it in a spot, because if, I come play pool here, but, you don't wanna be hitting the back of the wall or something.
Well, the sticks are against the wall in the back, we could probably push it somewhere back
we
there,
can, yeah.
where there's enough room where you're not banging into the wall.
Yeah, what I'll do, Jim, is I'll get with the highway guys that are up there normally, we'll get a good location for it, make sure there's ample room, and then,
Yeah, to the side and say, don't move it, once we find a new location.
All right, can I make the motion now?
absolutely.
All right, I'll make
And
the
a
motion.
second, all in favor?
Aye. Dean, is there something we could put under the
Are
legs
you
that
gonna
wouldn't make
write
it
the
slide?
amendment, or do you want me to do it and then you'll approve it?
Yeah,
It's
it's
sitting
just,
up, I know, it slides pretty easy. I just think it's something, I mean, I think between that and signs, I mean, we could even put a sign, since we have enough signs in the youth center anyway, we could even put a sign up by the,
says the sign, man.
yeah, by the, pool sticks. Let people know, please don't move.
Matt, excuse me. Did I hear?
Public participation's coming in 1 minute, Mrs. Morris.
Okay.
If you can just be patient, please. Do you have anything for us, Lucy, about?
do.
We met about 2 weeks ago, Lucy, Joyce from Cornell Cooperative Extension of 4-H, and she's got some updates to share with everybody.
Yeah, so some quick updates, and then I can get into the restore program. Supervisor?
Sure.
Okay, so our Ag and Family Festival is the 29th, 30th, and 31st, and I can't believe I came here without any flyers, so I'll be sure somebody drops them off tomorrow. And so we're excited to have people come on out. We are installing a rainwater collection, roof collection system. So we're very excited about using the water runoff from the roofs into a cistern that will be used to irrigate the arena, which is very well drained, so it gets dry fast. Washing the animals and used to flush the toilets. This project needs to be wrapped up by the end of the calendar year, so hopefully everything goes smoothly. But we're been installing the water lines and then the collection lines soon in the big cistern. And our Bountiful Harvest celebration is on September 16th. It will not be a request for fireworks. It'll be very ironic that I'm at this meeting. Okay, so the barn that currently is there, the block barn, I believe the property was purchased around January of 2011 and has been, and then when we leased the property from 2013 through to the purchase in September of 2016, that wasn't part of our lease agreement. When we purchased the property, the barn and the sheds and that roadway were all included, with the town having an irrevocable license for use of the barn and the easement with the walking path, because our proposed septic system on the site plan is actually in the middle of that So first we had an easement to go on that, and then it transferred that now. Anyway, so we have easements, but the irrevocable lease is very important, because that also obligates the town to maintain the building to the condition it was in 2016 when we bought it. And the roof is leaking a lot. It's a beautiful barn. You've seen them all over New York State. People don't invest in them and they fall down, and it would really, really be a shame for that to happen there. And I know that people would be really upset if it deteriorated to the point of tearing it down, and Cornell Cooperative Extension owns it, even though we actually don't have responsibility for it, right? So that would not go over too well. And I know you all care about the barn very much. People have told me how much they like the barn. So we'd like to keep the barn. How do we do that? Money's tight, etc. Well, there is a program, and I'm pretty sure, it's been around for a few years, but I think this is the first time it allows for rural properties. It's called Restore New York. It's part of the Economic Empire State Development Corporation. And I was on the webinar, and as Supervisor Howe mentioned, we spoke about this. And Barn has qualified in the past and was turned into a museum. Now, it's already off the tax rolls, it will continue to be off the tax rolls, but this is an option, because this would be very expensive for the town to put on a new roof. Highway Superintendent Hasselmeyer's had a hard time getting quotes for it, in fact, to put on a new roof. So a municipality of the size of Mount Hope could qualify for up to $2 million for any projects that would be available. I don't know, maybe you'll find projects that could also be available. It needs, so the project is really for blighted structures. It was originally very much targeted, and still is targeted to urban areas. And either have the money to demolish them, build up new, or to restore and renovate the current building and use it for another purpose. So we would need to repurpose it. And so what would that purpose be, and how would we work this out? So one of the issues that's coming to the top of our ideas on how to use it, and this would mean, right, then we would have ownership of the barn. The municipality has to be the applicant, we would help the town apply. But it's really used minimally now for storage for some mowers and winter fencing. I'm not sure what else is in there now, but so we have an extensive gleaning program where we collect produce that's not saleable but edible. We have refrigerated trucks and we deliver it. Well, the pandemic has just increased food insecurity. Don't see that going away. We have worked with Hannaford Foundation, and they've donated some monies for a walk-in cooler and a loading dock. And we're kind of thinking, okay, so that could work out pretty well there. And expanding it to repacking food, and ideally, if our application, our application could work out, to really turn into like food processing at that lower level. Access Supports for Living is very interested, more than interested. We're installing a garden that they would then operate for a program for their clientele. And they're very, very interested in workforce development, which we've always done, we just really haven't called it that. So they're very interested if we should move forward with more of a food processing in the barn too. So if this interests you, we would be thrilled to work with you. As I said, the town has to be the applicant to help with the whole application process and see what we can do. And I'm guessing that's what the quotes are that you're trying to get, Mr. Hasselmeyer, for the pole barn for the park, right? It's to store mowing equipment and the things that are in the current barn now. But I think it would be a real asset to the community. Part of the grant is that you get more points for two things. One is that you're in a really depressed area, so Mount Hope isn't. Otisville qualifies, I can't believe we're there, but so that makes you less eligible for other funds. However, since this would be targeting and the use would both be potentially involving marginalized or underserved clientele, as well as distributing to people, right, who are food insecure, we think that that would be a good fit. In an ideal world, the grant also looks to have it's on municipal rolls, then to whatever rehab or demolish, but then to put it back on the tax rolls, we would lose points in that category, right? Because hopefully it doesn't go back on the tax rolls. So I don't know if you have any immediate questions, I do have another copy of the slides that were sent out. They had said to check back, the request for proposals is not available yet. It said check in July, so I checked over the weekend, no, checked today, and they said July 11th, the RFP should be out. But I do have a copy of our deed, which outlines the responsibilities that we both have on the second page, and the slides, if you're interested, from the webinar. I don't know if you have any questions now. I did get authority, I told our board that I was gonna be here tonight, and they said, yes, if you're interested, we can go forward. You don't have to make a decision tonight, of course, because we don't even have an RFP to look at, but I really hope you'll be interested. I couldn't believe it, because our board started talking about that barn at the last board meeting, and then all of a sudden, this Restore New York program came, it's kind of like neon lights to me, like, oh my gosh, is this really possible? But, I can get a little excited, so I have to calm myself. It's a long way to actually getting awarded a grant, right? So, anyway, but, do you have any questions on anything?
Thank you, Lucy.
Yeah, thank you.
Do you want one copy?
Sure.
Copies for all the board members?
Yeah, if you could, please.
Lucy, do you want this back?
No, you can keep it, that's fine, thank you.
Could you make me a start too?
Sure.
Okay, we'll move on to public comment. Mrs. Marizio?
Yes. Well, my first question is answered, with the fireworks will remain at 2
Correct.
per year. Okay. The first 2 applying will get the space?
If their application is satisfactory and meets the requirements, yes.
Right, okay. May I ask right now, has the fair applied already?
Yes, both permits this year have been issued. One to the town for the night out, police event, and the second for the fair.
Okay, but it's a first come, first serve in the future.
Correct.
Okay. And there is a possibility, maybe of a light laser show, if somebody investigates it and finds out about it and
Correct.
determines that it's a good idea? Okay.
There's money to pay for it. That's the other factor to that.
Who's gonna pay for it?
If there's money to pay for it.
If there's money to pay for it. Okay.
That would be part of the investigative aspect.
Right. Okay. Well, I'd like to leave that open. If, me being one person, I think it's a good idea. Chris thinks it's a good idea, and, I don't know. Worth looking into, let's say that, just to find out what's what. Sounds good. This piece of paper that I was just handed for, a free community seminar, you said, Matt, did you not say in your comment this evening, as you were talking about this seminar, did you say that the town would advertise for this seminar?
Yes, we've had other entities. The most recent was the Juneteenth festival that was held in a park. Miss Maldonado put it on. She had drafted a flyer that we had advertised on our Facebook and website page. So, yes.
You did, okay.
Correct. I
Okay.
did say that it would be advertised, correct?
Okay, I wanted to clarify that too, because I wanted to, be sure that the Juneteenth was
Yes,
Indeed.
it was.
included
6
in some
times.
form of advertisement by the town. Okay, okay. Could I ask what this is about, since I know nothing about what this is about, or should
can
I
ask
have
them
been
after
here
the
in
meeting.
previous meetings?
We can talk after this. Oh, sorry, are you asking them?
Well,
Just
there-
briefly, can you?
So the bullet points say the Chinese Communist Party has infiltrated our schools, companies, and communities. Local residents of Mount Hope have been the targets of CCP spying activities. How can we protect ourselves from the community? Those are the bullet points on their flyer, so I would, like Mila suggested, she could give you more detail on that afterwards,
Yes.
as she's one of the lead organizers of the seminar.
It's also, can I say a few words? Okay. It's also co-sponsored by the Asian community in the Mount Hope area. So basically.
The Falun Gong people, you mean?
It's really not, it's not Falun Gong, it's the Asian community. We did a speech last time, like there's a lot of Asian people in the community. There are people who have spiritual belief, there are people who don't.
Okay.
But a lot of people, are aware of the danger, especially like me, I'm from China. I know what the Chinese government is after. So we want to basically yell out fire, so that
But you think there's a threat in Mount Hope?
yeah, everywhere, also here. Especially
I think she can answer your questions better after the meeting.
So,
Okay.
yeah,
Or the
thanks.
seminar.
Okay.
Or, yeah,
I'll give you
attend
my
a seminar.
Here.
That would,
Okay.
probably be good.
Matt, I just wanted to, during public comment, I have two people that are in the back that have been here the whole meeting. I sent it out to all the board members. It's in reference to the property that we had initiated taking down over here on Route 211. This happens to be some neighbors that are now suffering the consequences of that building being taken down or that house being removed. Not that I want to put you guys on the spot.
Oh, it's
but I
okay,
hope
Mila's
that-
our neighbor as well, so
Okay.
she's aware of the situation.
Okay, I hope
Do you
that's
want me to get up or sit here,
Just state your name.
or? I'm Jacqueline Mann, I reside at 1645, New York 211. I'm if you're coming from this direction, I'm on the right side where Frank Maidash, God rest his soul. His building is no longer there. It had been demolished, and as a result, there have been rats. Speaking to the board members, I know you, if not all of you, have children. I have a 3.5-year-old, very active. Since April 28th, actually, we bought our home June 7th of 2021 last year. When we moved in, I had called Mount Hope, asking them what was going on with the condemned building. At that time, we had been in the COVID pandemic, and as a result, nothing with renters or owners at that time of condemned homes could be, anything could not be done at that time, not until August 30th of 2021. As of December, I had shown up in 2021 to find out what was going on with the building being demolished, as I had been grandfathered in with a fence that had been on his property. It had been postponed due to health issues and not being able to contact Frank himself. As of 4/28, I have rings to protect my family and my child to check up on him regularly, which is a security system. I saw a rodent. I thought it at first was a small mouse because we had been getting some in our home. So we set up some traps, we caught little mice. On the video that I had sent Brian, you can clearly see that the tail is about 3 to 4 inches long. Seeing these animals during the day is a myth, as well as other wildlife. However, they do carry 35 different types of diseases, whether it's from feces, urine, or rodent biting somebody. 4/28, I also found out that Mr. Maidash himself had passed. May 6th, I had seen his daughter Angela Maidash, who was selling merchandise outside the home. She said that the building would be getting knocked down and that they were trying to sell whatever merchandise that they could. They were not able to enter the building because it was unsafe and that it was condemned. People and pickers that had been going there to buy merchandise, along with family members of my own, had said that they had seen rodents, not mice, rats. I have pictures here for anyone that would like to see them from my cameras on my porch. One that was killed last week with my father-in-law backing out of the property, coming from his property. I talked to the DCO. He told me that yes, they are going to come to my property. I reached out to Mila and the neighbor on the partnering side to let them know that the building was going to be demolished. I had not gotten any written notices or was told by the town that this would be happening. Nor was I aware that there were rodents. However, Dollar General employees had informed me. The construction people that were taking down the building and preparing to knock it down had told me. So I had contacted Julie not once, not twice, but 3 times since April. I had been told that they were going to disperse. If you look on his property, he has over 6 feet of high grass and acres that go back. I was told to buy rat poisoning, buy BB guns to try to protect ourselves. We've invested in pellet guns. I also have a small dog where I can't have this accessible to letting him out. It's gotten to the point where my son called me on June 12th while my mom was watching him to tell me that the rats had ruined his day. He could not go outside. I bought this property 1/10 of an acre short of a full acre for my son and my family to be raised here. I love the town, and that's why we are part of the community. If you've seen, we are always at the summer concerts, which we missed this evening, unfortunately. But we are active participants in this community. On Father's Day, we had people over to come for a barbecue, and they ran across and tried to go to Mila's property. Again, that's 3 or 4 times that they've been seen. On June 30th, I've killed a rat, sent it to Brian, and I contacted Julie, who is on vacation until the end of this week.
You sent me a picture of it, you didn't send me the
Oh,
rat.
I'm sorry.
I know what you meant.
I thought she said you're I mean,
Listen, if I ever wrote back that I needed proof, I didn't need mine. I still got it
I
outside.
spoke to Heidi, I've spoke to Deb, I've spoke to numerous people. They don't wanna see the pictures, nor do they wanna see, it's a fear and a phobia of many people. July 4th weekend on July 3rd, we were grilling. The rat came right up onto our porch. I mean, we've killed 4 of them already. There's no, I've asked if there's been an exterminator there. I've never gotten an answer. I have done everything that I can try to do to prevent them from coming to my property, from cutting bushes to weed whacking. My lawn, as you pass it, if you pass it on a regular basis, every 2 to 3 weeks is landscaped. I'm just looking out for a plea of help so that my son can enjoy his days outside and not have to say, Mommy, the rats ruined my days.
Jacqueline, when you contacted me, my first question was, I don't know what the town can do as far as if we can put poison out because we don't own the property. But we're gonna get an answer from the town attorney today.
Right. I had called an exterminator. It's $500 for, to have them come over and protect my lawn. That's not guaranteed. I'm not gonna put out that money. It's not my property, I do everything I can to prevent it, but is there something that can be done so that I can enjoy it? I mean, I know Mila works full-time, so she's not home. I'm a special education teacher home for the summer, and I've seen them once a week, every week with my son outside. It scares the life out of him. So I'm just looking to see if anything can be done at this point.
What we can do is we'll contact the contractor that did the demolition to see what information he has or that company has regarding the process, if there was anything they noticed during the demolition. And, we'll start at the avenue of the contractor, because we had hired them to do the work to take down the structure. So that's our first course to go down.
Okay, and if so, my husband had spoken with one of the employees who was a part of the demolition, who had confirmed when my husband had the videos of the demolition that day, that he himself had seen the rodents, so I'm not sure if that has any impact on the conversation.
Did you see anything before the house was knocked down?
No.
Yes, we did.
Oh, you did?
Yes, on
I
my
didn't.
cameras, on the ring. I saw it on the 28th, but that was when the home had been recently vacant.
Okay.
I was told by Dollar General that they had been buying bags of cat food and feeding it to the rats. I was also informed that there was 4 to 5 feet in their basement of water causing these rats. At the end of our driveway, there is a drainage system, which I'm not sure who would be in charge of that, but there's stagnant water that's not flowing. Could that be a cause of them burrowing? I'm not sure.
That's the state.
Okay.
I know your neighbor on the other side, I know they came in and redid his, because I think he came to one of our board meetings and told us one time.
Okay.
That may be a phone call.
Can I piggyback because I'm the neighbor? I hired an exterminator and for more than $600 something, and we killed like dozens of rats. And they actually chewed up the side, one of the wood piece to clean. I did have some pandemic food. There was a problem in my basement, so I got rid of all that. So I'm sorry if I added to
Oh, no,
the
you didn't add to it. I mean, I'm not sure if that was.
There was a
any-
huge influx of rats.
Yeah, no, I mean-
think it corresponded to the time you told me.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm
It's
just saying, I mean,
unbelievable situation.
just grilling for Father's Day or July 4th, I mean, that's embarrassing. I can't even have family here because I have a rat on my porch, so.
I did share your photos and videos with the rest of the
Yeah,
board members.
that's fine, by all means.
Anything else? Any questions for the mans?
Thank you for coming.
Yes, thank you.
Any other public comment?
Just because it's really late, I'm just gonna take a couple minutes to say, thank you to Brian for bringing up the fact that the vote on the Menacing Valley Library is October 18th. I hope that we can continue to revisit this. I know that I've stood up at many, many board meetings and talked about it. I know everyone is aware of it. I believe that this group is deliberately vague and not transparent about the information they're putting out on social media. We don't know where the vote is, we don't know when the vote is. They still say that the location of the library is to be determined, which I find strange since as of October, they want to have it. Informally, I think, and I've heard that they want to locate it in Greenville, which is a significant different distance from Mount Hope. I just think it's so important for the public to know that this is the entire school district. It will impact whether or not you vote on it, you should vote on it. But it impacts everyone who lives in the school district. And even if everyone in Mount Hope votes no, if it passes, your taxes will go up. You will no longer have a contract with Port Jervis Library. I'm an English teacher, I'm a writer, I value libraries, I think almost everyone does. We have a contract, we have an arrangement where we can get a library card. I think we all have to be really aware and do our due diligence and vote when it comes time for it. And I just hope, Brian, that you'll continue to share the information on the town's Facebook page, and encourage people to follow their page as well, because as you said, there's a lot of comments on there. Some of them are very heated and very passionate. But I think everyone really needs to pay very close attention to what's going on. Thank you.
If you're on Facebook, you're getting it because someone clearly put some money behind those ads, and that's obviously why they're popping up, so.
And I will second
Thank you.
what Allison just said. I'm against a new library when we have full access to Middletown Public Library and Port Jervis Public Library.
My suggestion is to call as many people as you know and tell them to come out and vote, because when you look at the percentage of people that vote, it's disgusting. I mean, and this isn't even an election, this is just a vote for a library, so guarantee the numbers aren't gonna be crazy.
And it's not to be associated with the school system either.
Right, move on to our board comments.
I have comments.
Oh, I'm
I was
sorry,
just
Diane.
waiting.
Nope, okay.
Just real quickly, I'm gonna leave these with Kathleen. They're the flyers for our yard sale. This one for the bulletin board, this thing can be left on the bench for people to pick up. I will send you the PDF, so if you wanna print more, you can. Seniors first, just a reminder, we do have a senior trip next Tuesday, the 12th, so you'll see cars in the parking lot. We're not leaving until 10 o'clock, we'll be back about 5. While we're talking about the seniors, it ties in with your discussion about the doors. What I refer to as the back door to the senior center, the one that, the handicapped entrance, those toggles just don't work. I could not get the door unlocked the other day. And I'm usually pretty patient with trying to get things lined up, so just if somebody could take a look at that. Hometown Helpers, I mentioned at the last meeting, we were doing our Flowers for Friends project with the Girl Scouts and with the Garden Club. So if you haven't been on the Village of Otisville Facebook page, please go. There's really nice pictures there. It was a very, very successful event. We delivered flowers to 24 seniors in the community. The girls themselves, the Girl Scouts, helped do the delivery, and were so touched by how happy the seniors were that they are now starting to talk about going and visiting nursing homes. So this is the kind of partnership that we really are trying to foster. While we're talking about Hometown Helpers, we do have an orientation for new volunteers this coming Friday morning at 10 o'clock. I think we have 3 people right now, but if you know anybody who says, gee, I'd like to know a little more about that organization, they can come 10 o'clock at Village Hall Friday morning. If they sit through the orientation and decide it's not for them, you know, we don't handcuff them to the chair or anything. That's fine, it's not for everybody, but the more people we can get, the better, because we just have more and more requests all the time. And the only other comment I have, I'm a little sorry Mike left, because following up on what Angel said, I think he left feeling like he'd never be able to do a fireworks show in the town of Mount Hope again. And from what Angel said in your response, that's just not so. You know, there are 2 shows, and if he approached the board early in the year and talked about when he would like to do it, let's face it, the fair's not gonna give up theirs if they, but, you know, the town has tried different times of doing it, and Mike might be, you know, able to work with you on that. So, John, if you could kind of carry that back to him, I really think he kind of left with the wind out of his sails, and I would hate to see that happen after everything he's done. All right, that's all I have.
Thank you, Diane. Just to kind of follow up with the comments with the fireworks, I know Paul had spoke with me after last meeting when we had set the public hearing about working, if you would like, a schedule to maybe alternate with the town show or something that would kind of give that second opportunity to another entity. So that's something we've started to have a discussion with on our end to see what, you know, what we could do to kind of make it work with the other groups within the community. So, anybody else for public comment? All right, board comments, any comments, Jim?
No comments.
All right, Chris?
No comments.
Brian?
I have one. I saw online yesterday, July 4th, that the county, Orange County 911 received 50 calls in a 24-hour period for fireworks and other stuff like that. So I just want to thank the volunteers, especially our local volunteers here. I believe the breakdown is, if people want to know this, I saw there's 59 volunteer companies in Orange County, and then there's an additional 4 that are paid. So thank you. I didn't hear any major issues that we had in our community, but I know that they did go out for calls to help other people. That's all I have.
Any comments, Amanda? The only comment I have, going back to the library district, it was about 2 weeks ago, we met with Senator Scofis. He came here for an informational meeting with the town and the village. And one of the items he had mentioned, kind of by chance, was some of the districts he represents has a double taxation within the library districts with like the proposed school library where borders are drawn by a school district boundary and other, I don't know the term he used, but something like the Thrall Library District.
Municipal.
Yeah, municipal district, that's the word. So for example, the Thrall Library District, there's people that have students in Minisink Valley, they live in the town of Walkdale, they pay Thrall Library tax. If this district passes, they would then pay the Minisink Valley title tax, so they'd be double taxed for library. So that's something I don't know if people are aware of. It does have an effect. There are a handful of houses in Mount Hope that go to the Pine Bush School, and they're in the Thrall Library, so they could, if passed, be double taxed. So it is close to home for some of our residents, more so our neighbors, but you know, that is something people should consider.
Matt, if I could follow up on that, I became aware of that only yesterday. And I did go on to the Friends of the Library and ask specifically about the town of Mamakating. Because there are many residents in the town of Mamakating who pay library tax to the town of Mamakating and would now also, it appears, would be paying it also to this entity. And I spoke with someone who, actually I spoke with the village attorney, who happened to have served on the Round Cove Catskill board for many years. And he said New York State is like wacky. That's why I knew it was called a municipal district as opposed to a school district library. And he said, yeah, absolutely, that can happen. So the Friends of the Menacing Valley Library have not answered my question, have not even addressed the fact that I asked that question. I also sent a note to the Board of Education, since they were the ones who had, I realize it's not their thing, but they were the ones who had to pass the resolution. And that's what brought it to light in my mind, because when I read the resolution, it said very clearly, every family, or every resident in the Menacing Valley School District. Well, if you, and I know all of you did, went to those informational meetings, that's not what they were saying. They were naming the 4 Orange County townships. So, I did have, when I got home tonight, Brian Monahan had left me a message that he didn't know the answer to that, and he had reached out to them and was waiting for a response and would let me know when it came. So that's a real issue that has really been kept very much down here, unless they don't even realize. And if they don't realize, then that really is scary.
Yeah.
They're probably waiting for their attorney to answer your question before they answer you.
Yeah, probably are. But yeah, so,
You're not
and
their attorney.
I happened to bump into Chris today, and I was talking to him about it, and he said, he was the one who made me aware it's not just Mamakating, there are a lot of other little pockets that would be double taxed if this were to happen, so.
And I think it should be made known, and correct me if I'm wrong, that these people that are starting up this library perspective are individual, you know, like you and me and my husband and Allison and Diane, and we got together and had a little kitchen table meeting and decided that having a library over in Greenville would be a good idea. And it's not any official group of any kind. It's individual people who got together and decided that this is a good idea and let's promote it. I don't like that.
Angel, have you been on this Facebook page yet?
Yeah, well, which one?
The ones for the Friends of this library?
No.
Oh, you should look it up and go on there and see what people have to say, because I gotta tell you, I feel that it's both ways. Some people are for this, they're happy as anything that they're gonna have a library in Greenville, like.
I don't think they totally understand.
Listen, I'm not disagreeing with you, that's not up to us to, what do you call it, again, we try to be both sides, like, hey, get out there, read this information. Obviously, we have our own opinions, but opinions mean nothing when we're sharing information, so just go on and look it up, is all I'm saying.
Yeah, we need a motion to adjourn the meeting,
I'll make the motion.
and a second. All in favor?
Am I wrong?
Should go on the